I'm Derek Hart. I'm the regional rep for the International Association of Drilling Contractors. I'm in week 2, so please be kind to me. For those that may be not familiar with IADC, we're a trade organisation which represents drillers on a global basis. Our head office is based in Houston, but we have a very active regional chapter here in the North Sea. And what I'm going to speak about today is an initiative that is focused on the North Sea for our members here. But I think with the like of a lot of other things that have happened in the North Sea over the past 20 years, I think is something which is likely to migrate to other parts of the world. Competence assurance, I think most companies have competence assurance programs in place. But as a drilling community, there are a number of activities that are undertaken on our drilling rigs, which are safety critical, but are undertaken by non-core crew. And I think that will hopefully become clear as I go through the presentation. So, why are we putting this together? The objectives of this piece of work that we're doing within the IADC in the North Sea chapter is obviously to reduce the risk of incidents offshore. And I come to the note at the bottom. We're not. This is not a competence assurance system per se. What we're talking about is how our members within IADC can verify the competence that should already be in place by the people providing the services, and I say particularly focused on safety critical. So we want to verify, in addition to our members, the drilling contractors personnel, that all non-drilling contractor personnel on board our members' rigs are competent to carry out their assigned tasks. And it's also to assist our members in the management of third-party competence, and we've referred back to HSE document on Wells competence, and I'll come on to talk a little bit more about that in a while. So the drivers behind this, we want to verify as far as reasonably practical that third-party personnel working on our members' rigs in safety critical positions that provide support to operations are competent to carry out their tasks and responsibilities required of them. I would hope that's self-evident. Also want to simplify and reduce the workload being placed on our OAMs and senior supervisors offshore. What our members have found over the past few years is what can happen is somebody arrives on one of our installations to be involved in a safety critical task not provided by ourselves. We have very limited information about that person pitching up. They're on the crew list, come out to the rig. How do our guys on the rig assure themselves, because our rigs, we are duty holders, we have obviously a duty of care and a legal responsibility. How do we assure ourselves that that person is actually competent to carry out the safety critical task that they're being asked to do? And a consistent approach. Our members had various company-specific ways of trying to verify the competence assurance of people, third parties coming out to our rigs. Part of the feedback that we had from the regulator was, well, you're a drilling industry, you've got IADC representing you, but you're all doing something slightly different. So we got together a work group within IADC and looked at what our members were doing and what we've tried to do is to pull together the best practice from across all our members. So we're looking at a consistent approach within our sector of the industry to ensure all third-party employers and suppliers are aware of our requirements with respect to competence of the personnel they supply to support the offshore drilling operation. So I mentioned earlier on about the IADC document, and I won't go through all this, but this is just taken from HSE document and also the OG UK guidelines on the competence of Wells personnel that was issued in January 2012. And this is a list of some of the people that may work on a drilling rig that are involved in safety critical activities. And we can also extend that to things like software engineers, and also we also bring out specialists for when we have to move our rigs from location to location, between locations, sorry. And obviously that in itself can be a safety critical task. Those of you that are involved with any platform activities where you're bringing a jack up onto the platform for drilling activity, to undertake drilling activities. Obviously you don't want that drilling rig bumping into your platform, so the activities of the towmaster on that can be considered safety critical. Responsibilities are within IADC, our rig managers, operations managers, to ensure the procedures that we're putting together are followed within our own teams. Going offshore, that our OAMs ensure that the procedure that we're putting together is followed. We've also highlighted some responsibilities for the people actually hiring and sending the people offshore. That can be within our organisation or within our customers, and also specifically targeted our customers that are sending people offshore to undertake safety critical roles to ensure that their management personnel within those organisations complete the relevant sections of our. We've got a couple of forms associated with the procedure. So we've split it into sort of 4 different categories. Drilling contractor agency personnel. What do I mean by that? An example of that would be on a drilling rig, a driller, the man squeaking the brake, or I don't maybe have so many squeaky brakes nowadays, it's cyber chairs, but the man sitting in the chair actually doing the drilling operation is performing safety critical roles. Within the drilling industry, we tend to employ or try to employ most of the drilling personnel ourselves, direct employees. Occasionally through sickness, we may have to bring in an agency driller. So go through the process within our own organisations to ensure that any replacement, say such as a driller, is competent. Service personnel that we bring on to undertake safety critical tasks, and that could be such as a towmaster that I've already mentioned to be involved in a rig move. Client personnel, if we go back to the list, the drilling supervisor that acting on behalf of our clients on the rig could be regarded as undertaking safety critical roles. And the fourth category there of client contractors, we have a number of contracted personnel from our clients that undertake safety critical roles. A couple of examples would be those involved in well test spread. So if we're doing a well test on a rig, there's obviously a possibility of release of hydrocarbons, and the people involved in that activity, or somebody who's permanently on a rig is a cementer. I think all our members have identified a cement unit on a drilling rig as a piece of safety critical equipment, and obviously we don't employ or we don't provide the cement unit or the personnel operating that. So the cementer could be identified as undertaking safety critical activities. We have developed a couple of forms. I'm not going to go through them, but what we've tried to do is keep this as simple as possible. I'd like to. We haven't rolled this out yet across the drilling industry, so I know there's representatives from a number of our clients here that maybe say, well, we haven't seen this yet. But what we have done over the past few months is through our colleagues at Maersk Drilling, they engaged with ConocoPhillips, and for the last few months I've actually been running a pilot of this, and the feedback has been, yes, there were a few challenges, I think, Derek, to start with, but has been a very successful pilot. We're now in a position of finalizing the procedure, and we will then be presenting this to all our members as a best practice for the members to use and incorporate within their own safety management system. We've also had and been encouraged to move along this route from the Health and Safety Executive. They've been actively involved in reviewing what we've been putting together and have commented back to us, and so I'd like to thank the HSE for their active input as well. And I think going forward, I know senior management within HSE are very keen to see, such as we heard about this morning about the step change human factors tool being used. I know that HSE are very keen that industry uses guidance that's been developed by industry. So I know that the HSE will be looking to drilling contractors and also others within the industry to use this tool that we're putting together within IADC. So thank you very much for your time.